Hey kids, welcome to another episode of Lofttown TV. And I'm here out in beautiful Leicester Beach where the cabin is with the dog. And we're going to be doing an awesome lesson that is near and dear to my heart. And so we're going to take a little ride on the quad right away. And we're going to take you out to some places where we can actually teach you this lesson. And while we're doing that, why don't you grab your Bibles and go to John chapter 15 so that you'll be prepared for this lesson. So let's head out on the trails and see what God has in store for us today. Okay kids, we are done our ride for a bit, and we are in part of God's glorious creation, and we are going to learn a little bit from the Bible today. Anybody know what kind of tree this is? If you thought that it might look like a spruce tree, it actually does, which is very close to a spruce tree, but it's actually a balsam fir tree. And the reason we know it's a balsam is because, number one, the needles are very, very flat. So when you try to roll them in your fingers, they don't roll. Whereas spruce tree needles, they roll. And secondly, underneath, they kind of have a little bit of a silvery look. So there's a little bit of a different color underneath. So it's more of a flatter type of branch. And number three is their pine cones actually do not hang. They stand up. And so that's how we know it's a balsam fir tree. And did you know that they are the most popular tree for Christmas trees? Okay, so we're going to be reading from John chapter 15, and it's about the vine and the branches. This is Jesus talking about how he is the life giver. And here's John chapter 15, verse 5. It says, "I am the vine, you are the branches. If a man remains in me, and I in him, he will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing." If we were to take this beautiful tree over here, and it's actually close to a lot of them, there's a bunch of them growing in this little grove. And if we went down to the bottom of the tree and we tried to look into where the root system is, if we decided that we were going to cut this branch off from the root system, what would happen to this branch? Obviously, it would die. And why would it die? Because it's not going to get the nutrients that it needs, the necessary things to have life. So therefore it won't get the water that it needs to come through the branch to keep the needles from drying out. It won't get the nutrients it needs in order to grow, and therefore it's disconnected completely from the life giver, which are the roots. And we know that if this has been taken away from this, that it's going to die. And we know that in the same way, if we are disconnected from Jesus, we have no life. And we know that in the passage before John chapter 15, in John chapter 14, it says, Jesus says, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me." And did you know that through the root system, it also gives us a good foundation? We can show you this tree in our yard, in which when I pull it out, what happens is that you can see the amount of roots that are connected to this tree. And this is a tree that we transplanted, and we didn't do a very good job. It is dead because it did not get the life that it needed, because it didn't have a strong root system. Our root system, our foundation, needs to be in Jesus and Jesus alone. That is the message of the vine and the branches from John chapter 15, that Jesus, if you were to remain in him, he will remain in you, and you are connected directly to the giver of life. Thanks for joining us here on LTTV, you guys. We have many more lessons connected to this one coming up soon. All right, let's finish this off strong. Let's see if we can get ourselves into a little bit of trouble as we drive back. Thanks for joining us. you.